Hello, Alex Skuby. How are you?
Good, Abe. How are you, man?
I'm good. I feel something's in the air, something's happening in the next 80 days. I don't know. How you?
Yeah, it feels fun, It feels just fun and it's getting funner. That's a word.
Yes, it's a good word. I am, very enthusiastic towards
Mhm.
the election for Kamala.
Yeah.
However, I feel like part of me tends to get carried away in the enthusiasm part of it.
Yeah.
And I want to also be like practical.
Oh, I
Listening
get
to
it.
I was listening to a really good podcast this morning called of course I don't remember the name of it. But it's part of Crooked Media, The
Okay.
Wilderness it's called. And it's just a woman who does politics for a living, and she's a Democrat, but she's like saying the fact that it's always so close, our elections,
hmm
is not going to change with all this enthusiasm. This election
Oh,
is close
yeah.
because even though Trump has been proven to be what we all know horrible,
hmm
he still has about the same share of the market. So it's kind of like that's a
Okay.
concern.
Okay, here's my take on this, right? So the polls right now, and polls until October, they kind of don't matter. I mean, they're fun to look at. And let me preface this by saying Biden did an amazing thing by stepping out of the race. He just did. He did an amazing thing. Um, but
Agreed.
here's the thing: as far as the polls go, I don't trust them. Around October, I start watching and start looking.
Right.
Um, right now, it's depending on what poll you look at, there is a tie, but some polls are astronomically wonderful in her direction, especially with the Black community and younger voters. I mean, there's a disparaging difference. Um, and I feel like this could be, a 2008 Obama type election. I think she could, and I really do believe she's going to sweep this election when it comes down to it. Now, that having said that, everyone has to vote, right? I mean, you can't, if every, and I
Yeah.
say this, if every blue-blooded American actually votes, there'll be no comparison in numbers. She will sweep this election. I really believe that.
And you can continue to believing as it is. I just feel like I'm concerned that there's certain things that are going to glitch that no one
Mhm.
is talking about. Just the fact that 100,000 masked um, pro-Palestine people have converged on Chicago
Mhm.
screaming "Killer Kamala."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See
Uh,
that they are still a minority. That is the far
yeah.
left, tiny little fringe. However, that is who they're going to not piss off just Jews. They're going to
Yeah.
keep blocking airports, blocking the 405,
Yeah.
stopping kids in September from going to their classes.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
out of
going to
line.
piss
Yeah.
off the people in the suburbs because it's going to make it look like the Biden Harris administration currently in power
Mhm.
no control over this kind of violence and rhetoric. And that is, I did a post about it this morning, and I
Mhm.
feel that's an unfortunate truth that they're going to lump her and blame her. And the fact that her position on Israel seems to be very kind of sympathetic to Gaza, which again, nobody wants to see innocent people get killed. We'd also like the hostages out. But that's something that a lot of people don't like talking about because it gets bad eyeballs on TikTok. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it does. It gets bad eyeballs. So my whole thing is this. So Kamala Harris is in the Biden administration right now, right? So she's already said she wants ceasefire immediately. She wants the two-state system. Is that that's
The
what
two-state solution.
two-state solution? And so, I mean, right now she's, people always say like, what has Kamala done? What she's a VP. She's in the Biden administration. She's kind of going along with what she's there to do, support the president, right? As far as this goes, Palestine, Israel. So Hamas did a horrible thing, right? That was October, right? It was absolutely hideous what happened. So of course Israel is going to retaliate. We expected it. We knew they were going to. Of course, any country would retaliate, and they did.
Right.
My thing is this, and again, I'm not schooled in all of the goings on out there, but I'm just from a perspective of me watching this. Israel has gone, a little too far. I mean, I don't know, like kids, these kids being murdered, all stuff. Again, we want the hostages back. That's not a big ask. I mean, so it's all fucked up. I mean, it's so twisted and fucked up. And then the other thing on top of it, which I've told you this before, I have no religion in my life other than the universe and energy. That's what I believe in. Those are my things. So if we look at this from a religious standpoint, that's where I start getting my brain is looped, because I believe that whole system of thinking is slightly, I'm gonna crazy. That's just me though. It's just me. Like, I don't believe in a sky daddy. I just don't,
No,
So
but I don't think the thing is that Israel's retaliation has nothing to do with their religion. It has
yeah,
to do with being safe and not being attacked, which on and off. I don't think we should spend the whole time talking
yeah,
about this, but I
yeah,
just want to say that my concern for Kamala is the
yeah.
perception, because perception is reality.
Mhm.
Israel has terrible PR, and the perception of the Biden administration, although Joe did a lot for Israel,
Yeah,
is that he's not doing enough. The perception that Trump is going to come in and save the day has a
yeah.
lot of people feeling that that's why they would vote for him, which for me is a non-starter. So
Well,
that's the concern, because it's in the margins. As much as you think she's going to sweep, and I
yeah,
would love nothing more, because that would
yeah,
be the final nail in the coffin of that fucking pig.
yeah,
But but if he only
yeah.
if it's the same kind of tiny margin that she wins by, we don't lose Trumpism. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we don't. Because also now again, he's got his, he loves those fake electors. He's got people spread out in different states that refuse to, certify the election. He's got the SCOTUS, which he, pretty much rigged as right wing. So yeah, there's a lot going against it, but I feel like if the numbers are big, real big, none of that will matter. So
you know,
again, the Palestine thing with the people protesting, I am it's a little it's a lot. It's a
they
lot.
need
It's
to
a
be
lot.
scooped. They need to be scooped up into vans and thrown
Yeah.
in prison to
Yeah.
kind of show you like this is not our idea of peaceful protest. And I think they should change the First Amendment to add an amendment, because there's no difference between the KKK and this. None.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
None,
the whole
none,
thing with
none.
them calling out Jews and stuff at colleges and all this stuff, it's just fucking insanity. That stuff is insane to me. There
Right. But Kamala, if she doesn't see now, again, she's covered because she's vice president
yeah, of
during this next
course.
semester,
Yeah.
September, October, when we see what's going to happen before the October surprise.
Yeah.
But Joe is going to have to seem strong on this,
Yeah.
because you saw Hamas can't reneged on the deal today that the Americans put forward in
Yes.
conjunction. They want the war. And actually,
They
I
do.
think Bibi Netanyahu wants the war. I think he wants to hope that Trump's going to come back in,
Yes.
whatever that romance is.
Well, because
They're both
he's right wing. Netanyahu's a right winger and he likes Trump. And if anyone thinks that Trump's going to do anything for them good, is, people talk about their tax, again, this is a spiral into something else, but people talk about their taxes being too high. We're still in Trump's tax system, man, until 2025. It's just though, again.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. So I know. So yeah, so we can make fun of Trump forever,
Yeah, it's easy.
and I intend to. I just want to say I've been making fun of him since the 2010s. because when I lived in New York City, I had a very popular blog called ImeanWhat.com,
Oh,
where I
nice.
would like call shit out on everything, kind of like
Yeah,
what I do on TikTok, but it was
yeah,
like the written blog years
yeah.
back then. And yeah, um, I gave him the Gross Baboon of the Year award in 2012. I am no stranger to can't standing him.
Well, dude, I grew up in Jersey, and I remember
Oh,
as a kid
where?
in the '80s, I grew up in Manasquan, Belmar, Asbury Park
Oh,
area. And
I'm from the north.
are you from the north? In Jersey?
Yeah.
Where are you from in Jersey?
Well, I was born in Weehawken,
Yeah,
which I call the welcome mat of New Jersey.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
we moved on up to Englewood Cliffs, but it's all in my book. Won't be silent, don't stop till it matters.
I'm gonna have to read that.
No, it's really funny.
No,
I'm
no, I'll
very
definitely
proud.
check
I'm
it
very
out.
proud of it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Like I grew up in the '80s. I was born in '72. In the '80s, I was old enough to listen and hear, and I remember people calling Trump out nonstop about him ripping off contractors, about his sexual escapades, about the drug use, about everything, and just the racism. Oh my God, like he wouldn't let black people.
He's been gross for years.
So where does that leave us now? Like, what does that say about the people? Again, it's like support him. It's just
It says a lot about, you want to know something? I'll tell you what it says a lot about. That even any military member that would still support him after he belittles the Medal of Freedom, the
oh my
Congressional
God,
Medal of Freedom.
yeah,
I mean, there's a content creator named Kristen on TikTok that you should
yeah,
follow.
yeah,
She's like a military spouse, and her whole family has been in the military for
yeah.
400 years.
Holy shit!
They've been here for 400 years, and
Wow,
they fought in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the War of 1812, Napoleon
wow.
One, Korea. So she's so eloquent about how her mother was in Iraq,
Yeah,
whatever. She's amazing.
wow.
And I said to her, and a couple weeks ago, I found her. I did a thing with her.
Yeah,
I said, you have to take the posture and galvanize the people in the military to be military for Kamala.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, so she's building a platform like really well because she's really eloquent and pretty and good camera,
yeah.
whatever. So
Presence. Yeah.
great presence. So I'm like hoping that recent, kerfuffle really makes these people who have like been his supporters.
Yeah.
Like, remember when they were saying, "Oh no, if he declares martial law, the military loves him." Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, it's so
How
skewed. And
sick are you?
there are vets out there. So, on my TikTok, I get a lot of, the crazies come through my page. And it's like, so I have veterans who vote T-ROM, and they are out of their minds. I mean, they don't even, so you say what he says, right? You tell them this is what he says about, soldiers in the military, and suckers and losers. And they literally say that they don't believe even though he could be on camera, he could be on the phone with them, he could be face to face and say you're a sucker and a loser, and they go, no way, you didn't say that.
No. The day after that whole thing that happened with the medal, I
Yeah,
saw he did a thing on TikTok walking out of his car going, "I'm doing this for the military." And they're supposed to just roll over and forgive him. The fact
yeah.
that he's on TikTok is so nauseating. I don't know if
Yeah,
any.
no, I and I put not interested because it did come across, and I just clicked not interested. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not following him. Who was interested in what he has to say? That
Here's
wrote
another thing.
tons.
Why do these maggots, why do they think that liberal men are pussies, for lack of a better term? Why do they think this? Why do they think we're snowflakes? Why? it baffles me because the truth is, I find them to be the weakest because they're nothing without their guns.
Right.
They're
Well,
nothing.
they're guilty. Anytime they accuse us of anything, it's something that they're just guilty of themselves.
Yeah.
It every single time. The whole thing about anti-gay, that they're so anti-gay when half of them are gay.
Yeah. Didn't they crash Grinder at the?
They crash grinder at the RNC. They're tapping their toes in airports, looking at the stall next to them,
Yeah.
time and time again. So it's either Christian Republicans tend
Yeah.
to just be gay and closeted because their whole teachings from religion, which tracks back to why you're probably not into religion.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is who these people are. So there isn't much to say outside of the fact that when they accuse you of something, it's because they know they're trying to just protect their own selves.
Yeah. So like you, my entire voice on the old TikTok is to try to get T-Rump out of everything. Just done. I just want to show everyone the
Earth.
truth. Yeah, yeah. No, but I just speak the truth, man. And of course, it's the people that like what I have to say, and they know that I'm not lying when I say the things that I'm saying, except you get these people we're talking about, they come on and they say, you're full of shit, you don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. And it does become like a mind twist because I do find myself at times during the day going, why am I doing this?
Well, what you have to, here's what I've decided to do after 4 years of being on this consistently, at least an hour or two a day, because it's my joystick.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time blocking and deleting. I would like to think that the people that are part of my following me and the people I follow are like core constituents. I look at it, not like followers and whatever. People that when we all first were getting into the internet, it was finding our own communities and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's how the app started out. It's a whole different app now. It's a whole different set of priorities. I'm not necessarily as elevated as I used to be because I don't want to play the games. I don't like doing a lot of lives. I don't want to spend time convincing a Trumper to change their views. I would rather find and make sure that the people in my community are voting for sure, and they'll go get their families do that. Because at least that is how that old member of the Fabergé commercial with Locklear, you tell a friend and they'll tell a friend, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how I feel we're going to get this done. Get this done. And,
and we have to get it done. And my thing is like, and I probably would have a little less stress if I did exactly play it how you're playing it. And I don't want to do lives either. I did one and I felt weird. It was weird. And I might do, I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But I will say that the reason I don't block and delete a lot of these maggots is because I want just one of them. And it may never happen. I'm probably delusional thinking it will, but one of them to go, you know what? He's right. I mean, just one out of the 10, 15, 20,000, whatever it is, just one to go, he's right.
Go on that journey. I wish you well.
Yeah.
Pack a sandwich.
Yeah, or four.
No. Yeah. I mean, I have people in my family that I'm going to Jersey for a few weeks in September for some family functions, and I haven't been there for a while. I want to say I'm very close with them, but a couple of them are Trump supporters because and they're in real estate, so they're just bull, but I don't need to change their mind either. Of course, New Jersey, New York, California, we're all going to end up with Kamala. You know what I mean? So it's almost like mental masturbation trying to get into a fight with those people. But I think rather, look, it's part of the fun. And like, that's part of your fun. That's why you want to crush fucking idiots. I enjoy yourself,
Well, I got a little story for you. So my father and I haven't spoken in over 5 years
Wow.
because of the old donut T-Rump. Yeah, he all of a sudden, like I never knew him to be racist or you know just a closed-minded individual, and then all of a sudden T-Rump comes along, and he's running in 2016, started in 15, that whole thing. And my father started showing signs of like love for this person, and I was like, Dad, we used to listen. Like, you were my father. You heard these, so you know what Trump is, Nah, but then he started defending like the racist parts and stuff. And I'm just gonna say it because this is the truth. I saw him in a different light, and I spent, I would say, 4 years being completely disgusted, but still having a relationship with him because he's my father.
Right.
And then one day, about a little over 5 years ago, he called me and he was going on and on about how great T-Rump is and all this stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't ever want to hear about this again. You and I can't, I've put up with this long enough. You and I can't have a relationship anymore if this is what you're going to talk about when you get on the phone with me. And he said, I'm not going to repeat what he said, but he said something to me. And I said, in a Jersey way, the fuck did you just say to me? And he said it again. And I said, we're done. That's it. We're over. And I hung up, and that was it. I haven't talked to him since. And now this is all, and maybe it's not. Maybe he's always been like this. Maybe there was something in there that just wanted to come out, and T-Rump was the perfect, way to do it. And I feel like that's a lot that way for a lot of our country. They've been hiding under these rocks and keeping these feelings inside, but T-Rump gave them a voice.
Yeah, that's why I would never vote for him, because part
Yeah.
of the discourse that we're suffering through is
Yeah.
because of his rhetoric. But I want to say one thing, and I'm just going to plant this seed in your head.
All right.
Don't allow your father's ignorance to deny what ultimately will be the missed opportunity to just not. I mean, my dad died when I was young, and then I just am sharing a personal story that I never had a chance to say goodbye or I'm sorry, and we had a fight and all this other stuff, and it was horrible. Great chapter in the book. But but in terms of a father and son thing, that I've denied myself my whole life because of that situation, I think it doesn't matter that he's a maggot moron. You know what I mean? He's your father, and it's unfortunate that you have little in common politically. But
I mean,
and maybe 10 other things that you have in common. But you know what? At least for whatever reason, reach out to him and say, look, I think you're an asshole. You know what I mean? And be your honest, who you are self.
Yeah.
And just put the ball in his court. You know what I mean?
I did that quite a lot over the years of this, and it fucking just never. Here's what I will do, and I have been thinking about this. Is this when T-Rump loses this election, by ever how big or small the votes are, because he will lose. When he loses this election, maybe I'll do just that. Be like, hey, you know what? The fucking orange baboon is gone. It's over. It's done. You people, you, and I include him in this, you had your chance to spew all your bullshit and your hate and your rhetoric. And now let's try to pick up these sloppy pieces.
I actually think, just for the fun of it, you should call, or do you talk only, or does he email or text?
No, he's not computer good. He's not good at it.
You should call him and say, I'm so sorry that you're such an asshole. Just so that you get that part out of the way.
Yeah, just right out of the way, right off the bat.
I'm sorry that you're a schmuck.
Yeah. No, it's fucking hell.
Just think about it. Think about it. Because look, you know what the answer is going to be. You know where his head is. You know that become something that you don't remember as a child.
Yeah.
Maybe you went into denial because you loved him, because he was your dad,
Yeah.
you looked up to him. So
Hmm.
that is why I think, part of why, and really part of why I wrote the book, honestly, because that was the inciting incident,
Hmm.
that when he died, the night that we had a huge fight,
Hmm.
like, and I was like, went it off into addiction and horrible ending spiral.
Wow. Wow.
You know, but it was important to ultimately be grateful
Hmm.
that he died that way, and that this was the life that I had to pick
Yeah.
pieces up from. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because had he lived, and I would have never, who knows, I could have ended up just being like just the typical suburban kid going the father's business and having like
Yeah.
that kind of path that was set up for so many suburban kids. You
Yeah,
know
of
what I
course.
mean?
Oh yeah.
This way, that so, and everything became like nothing normal because of
Yeah.
it. So I just think that every situation is different, but like cleaning your side of the street just so that you don't have anything to hold on to
Yeah,
is
when he
quite
goes, yeah.
parts to every human, let alone more importantly, every man and their dad, because of
Yeah.
that thing that I was deprived. And I just, and every time and that's how every time, and I'm not going to harp on it, but I think you got a great vibe. And I think that's, you're better than he is at this point. So he
Yeah.
actually gave you this great gift to grow beyond what his capacity is limited.
And that's exactly what it is, capacity. And I never understood why the capacity was kind of low bar where you couldn't. But anyway.
Jersey, hello.
Yeah,
Hey, come on.
I know.
We love our Jersey. I always say
Yes.
Jersey. We're the best lay, but
We are. Hey, we're the best lay. That is a
best lay.
fact. Oh my God,
That was
man.
how we compromised. I always said, Woody Allen was the one that was guilty of giving Jersey a bad name from his
Yeah.
early films, always
Yeah.
making fun of New Jersey, right? And I was like always so pissed at him, like, he was like my arch nemesis because there I was from New Jersey.
Yeah.
But I was like, but we're a great lay. So, what I mean? You got to find where you settle in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
Those are
tell
the
you, man, I want to say this. So like I loved your stuff on TikTok before we started following each other. You used to come up in my FYP. The funny thing is about TikTok is I don't just follow people. I don't, because I'm not there to do that. I'm there to just say my shit, get the fuck out of there. But we got in touch, and I've been literally watching your stuff when I was on TikTok for a while. I just never, and I rarely do, click follow. I rarely do it. I mean, I think I follow like 142 people only because I know them.
right,
I know them personally. You
right,
know what I
right.
mean? And so I don't, anyway, but love your stuff on TikTok.
Well, when you showed up into see, again, my algorithm has gotten really weird. People I'm
Yeah.
normally following, I don't see anymore. People I really like and friends of mine I don't see anymore. It's like all about the shopping and,
Yeah. Yeah.
things. I do make sure I have my enough videos of dogs and people falling. I think I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I thought as soon as I saw your first post, I followed you. I just had
Yeah.
never seen you. You just happened to appear, and I just like, that's my whole thing. I like people that I share a sensibility with.
Hmm.
That's what this whole thing is all about. It's like, I didn't try to be famous for this, you know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
get getting a following, and then you just kind of, I look at it as like community that is important. Again, when this whole thing started in 2020 is because we were all in lockdown. So anyone that's on here really, like,
Yeah.
there's some that was in iMusically or whatever that used to be, but we knew that we had a job, and that was to get Trump out of the White House,
Out of
which
the White House.
I am convinced that there's nothing that we're not capable of doing, only because we've done it.
Yeah, we've done
Keep
it.
him out. We'll keep him out because we've thrown him out. And
Yeah.
that is what you have to hold on to,
Yeah.
because you can't, like, I don't have doubt when I tell you that I just want to be realistic. I
Yeah.
don't doubt that we have that capacity to do that, but I just want to be like prepared for the enemy.
For the
The
enemy. And we
enemy's
learned a
around.
lot. We learned a lot in 2016. We learned that T-Rump will never win the popular vote. He just won't. That won't happen. Now, as far as the archaic electoral college, yeah, they do some crazy shit. And we know that he's not playing fairly because he never fucking does, right? So he's got some stuff that he's got in the back. Like he was at one of his rallies saying, don't vote. Don't vote. I don't need the votes. Because in the back of his, dementia brain, he,
Greasy.
yeah, he's greasy as fuck. So it's like, he knows that someone is going to be there to help him out. And if he doesn't win, he's going to rally his troops, his maggots, and they're going to try to do something to get him into office. Here's what I tell everyone that comes to my page and comments. I think we're going to win, but I'm really afraid because of what happened last time, in 2021, the insurrection. And I say the same thing. I say, listen, when that happened, he was still president. He did nothing.
Right.
We have a Democrat in office right now. Do you really think that Biden would let that happen again at the Capitol without calling in the National Guards, without doing it? I believe that is not the case at all.
Well, I have to say, this brings back to our conversation.
Yeah.
Forget about January 6th for a second. We have fall semester at
Yeah.
UCLA and NYU and and Columbia.
Brown.
If we don't see a handle on the violence in the streets,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's the difference between the two things?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're
So
absolutely right.
he has to prove to America and the voters before November, because he's being given a gift.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of, is he going to accept this gift and prove that he's grateful that this gift happened, that these people, I mean, it's a gift at the DNC that these hundreds of thousands of idiots are calling her Killer Kamala.
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't change hearts and minds,
Yeah.
then I guess what are we talking about here? Like, honestly, like,
Yeah.
if the Chicago mayor and if the Illinois governor, who is great, that guy, that big,
Yeah, I know he is.
what's his name with the P?
Of course, I
Anyway,
can't think of it right now,
yeah.
but
Well, this is, what is this, a pop quiz?
yeah.
No. But if they can't prove that they want their cities to be safe, that's going to be a bad reflection on Kamala Harris.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So I mean, okay, so someone in that position, what do you propose, especially for the DNC coming up? What would you propose them do if 100,000 or more are going to show up and protest?
They're there already. They're there already. And
okay.
they're warning people to change your name when you're checking into your hotel.
What?
Because these people are evil.
Well, what the fuck? What do the fucking Jews in America have to do with the fucking Jews in Israel and the fucking Palestinians? What do they have to fucking do with that?
All I know is that this is where we are because these people are Hamas and they are fighting on over there, and they're now fighting over here. So here's what I think. I think after 9/11, we had a Republican president, a kook, right?
Bush.
But what happened in the streets? There was National Guard everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not comparing apples to apples, but I don't ever want to compare apples to apples on that level again. And we need to have the National Guard everywhere. The end, period, especially in Chicago right now.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree with you. I do. I agree with you. So, I mean, well, starts tomorrow. I mean, the DNC is right here.
Yeah.
It's like, when does this happen? Like, what? I keep waiting for Biden to do a few things, not just do something to try to show everyone that he is not just Netanyahu's fucking guy and that he wants anyway. I want to see him put judges in the court before he leaves office. You know, T-Rump would do it. He'd pack that court. Now, with this Palestinian stuff and these protesters coming up, you know, they've been going. I want them to quiet the fuck down, calm the fuck down. What they're doing, first of all, especially at the college,
it's un-American. It's un-American.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
you're talking about, but isn't that just in a way? There's like race. It's more racism. It's more what? It's more.
It's total racism.
Yeah,
there's a woman, a black woman. I did a post on, I stitched it, which I rarely do, but she's like, Israelis need to go back where they came from. And I'm like, can you imagine if I said that to her?
Oh my God.
If I said, what you just did is what Trumpers are doing to you. And you just did that. So you have just proven that the far right and the far left are the same thing. Racist.
But I think
Jews,
they are
against black. It's racism.
Yeah, I get called far left all the time, and I'm like, first of all, and here's a fact: the first time I voted Democrat was when T-Rump stepped into the picture. Now, again, did I vote for Bush? And all this? A lot of the times I didn't even vote. I was like, I don't fucking give a fuck about politics. And to be honest with you, I never gave a fuck about any of this shit until that piece of shit came into this fucking whole scenario. That's when I started and went, if the Republicans are going to have him as their candidate, I have to do something about it. This can't happen. So that's when I said, you know what? I am left of center. I'm left of center. I'm a fucking actor. Of course I'm left. You know what I mean? All artists. My wife's a painter and an actress. I fucking play music. I play instruments. All my friends are either gay or black or fucking musical theater. I'm not a fucking Republican, of course. But oh my God, forgot what we were talking about. I got off on a
no. I'm just I have found myself far much more in the center.
Yeah.
Since I've seen this uncontrollable evil kind of equivalent of MAGA threatening people in the streets with their faces covered. It's like we're living back in KKK, only that the black people are not the target. It's Jews. There's no difference. There's no difference.
You're
and the
absolutely
fact that they can walk around with their faces covered and cops just sitting like this because they have free speech. You know what? It's when free speech needs when the First Amendment needs an amendment. I mean, it's not going to happen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
it's true. But you know what? What's going to happen is that there's going to be an unfortunate incident that's going to happen as a result of this. I don't know if that's going to be the October surprise or whatever, but it's leading into a very dark. And the less the administration does to kind of at least put it in some kind of container, something bad's going to happen. It already has. I mean, the kids who had to go back home from Columbia, like I know my friend's daughter was about to graduate and had to like miss out on that from college.
That's crazy, man. It's just not fucking right.
Yeah.
It's just not right. My thing is this October surprise. I keep hearing about it and I refuse to delve into it because I just have other things on my mind. What is this October surprise?
Historically, at every election, something happens in October.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I've never really latched on
because you weren't voting, girl. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Do you think now? Do you think that T-Rump will have a stroke October?
No. You never know what to expect. Hillary Clinton had the thing with her emails.
Yes.
And what's his name? That happened at the last week of October. That changed it, although she should have automatically taken off those pantsuits and gone out to the countryside. I've been saying that the entire time. Needless to say, Tim Kaine was no big thrill either.
Yeah.
As soon as he turned, it was like, the dating game. As soon as he came around the curtain, I called my sister. I said, she's losing.
She's losing.
She should have picked Cory Booker, period.
I love
That
Cory
would've-
Booker.
Even though she won the popular vote,
Yeah.
but there was just a different kind of energy around that.
I like that other guy too. What's his name? Oh my God, I can't. I always get him and Cory Booker confused because they have the same kind of gumption. He's the leader of the. Is he the leader of the House? Is he?
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Jeffries.
Yes. Yeah,
I love him.
he's amazing. He could be president. He'd be my president in 28 for sure.
Yeah. And I used to love Adam Schiff, but something happened. I don't know what happened.
No, you know what? Adam Schiff was so boring.
Yeah. But he was very intelligent.
No. He's very smart. He's very pragmatic. He's very, he was, when I lived in West Hollywood, he was my congressperson. I actually called him in his office in 2019.
Yeah.
And I said, can he please run for president? Because it was before I jumped on that, because I was always for Biden for the most part. I mean, there was like 2 days I considered Bloomberg, and then I was like, no. Yeah. But I just thought, it would be kind of fun to see the two self-righteous rich people running against each other with their money, Yeah. But but no, he's boring as fuck. Yeah. But I'm voting. No, he is. Yeah, I'm excited to vote for him for our senator.
Yes.
Because Katie should have never gotten that. If we lose a seat because of her, would be really unfortunate.
Katie Porter.
Katie Porter is very popular in Orange County seat.
Yeah.
That's a very red county. And she managed to win twice. So for her to kind of like jump out of that, knowing how desperate because California and New York, the two bluest states, fucked up, and why we have like Mike Johnson, who is the most annoying Christian zealot that ever had sex with the boy 12 times, I'm sure.
Dude, this Christianity thing, these evangelicals, man, I put out a post about that about a week ago, and I can't get over the fact that these people are so into the donut, and that they say that he's like, some of them have been quoted by saying he's the second coming of Jesus. Meanwhile, and I can't even finish that sentence because it's just like, but here's the wild thing. Did they not get the memo that T-Rump is a pedophile, a sexual assault, a fraud?
They don't care.
So how is he? So are you telling me the second coming of Jesus is a rabid piece of shit? That's what we got?
No, they're using him to move their agenda, which is doing fabulously well. Look at our Supreme Court.
God damn.
I mean, they're on their mission. We're all screaming here, Israel, yabba dabba doo. They are checking things off their list. It's fucking Santa Claus. They're checking things twice. They are fine. And if Stinky wins again, they're going to be hallelujahing up their tits. You'll see. They're going to. Yeah. But so this is where we are. So I think we just have to just keep a sharp eye on everything. And you can be as excited as you want for Kamala. I am for sure. But I am going to be the first to call out when the enemy is at the gate and the gate's kind of open and they're coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. And you're right to do it. You're right to do it.
No, I'm going to be that voice. I'm totally happy to do it. I don't care how many people, and I said it. And if you don't agree with me, block me.
Yeah.
I don't care. You're not my friend. Fuck off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never met you. I don't know what you do. You're probably fat. Get out.
There is a good chance of that.
No, I mean, look, as somebody who was fat, I can say what I can make fun of fat people and Jewish people all day long. But, but I just am like, I'm like concerned that everyone's just kind of enjoying this, like, this joyful warrior moment. And I'm already seeing where they're going to get her. There's a lot of footage of her saying stuff that's not kind of helpful to get a centrist candidate elected.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
But
she doesn't have to deny who she is and become somebody completely else, but they're going to trash her for changing her opinion on fracking.
mhm.
You know, the people she's hiring around her for national security are looked at as very left-leaning, kind of almost anti-Semitic Jews. You know what I mean? Like this is the perception of them. This is,
Yeah.
you know, I can't imagine that that's the case, but you know, that's what's being said. But
Yeah.
we have attack dogs that are
Yeah.
smart, and they think they've got God on their side.
Ugh.
And there's a series now that I am obsessed with, and it's coming to an end. It's called The Serpent Queen. I don't know if you've heard
Oh, I
about
haven't
it.
seen that yet. Yeah, I've heard. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so intense. It's
Really?
gorgeous and beautiful and written like it's that era. It's about Catherine de Medici, Medici's about,
Yeah.
and she ends up getting sold off into like a nunnery as a child because the family, whatever. Anyway, it's about her becoming the queen of France. It's this great
Was that
story
by the
based
Game of
on.
Thrones people? Did they do that?
No, they did not.
Okay.
No, they did not. Anyway, it's all about how, and it's at the point where Christianity and Protestantism are almost at war. But
Yeah.
what you're seeing is that the woman who was this kind of felt like she was from God, that whole mindset,
Yeah.
that she's so evil, yet she's like, I am coming from God, but she's like a serpent. And it's not even the serpent queen is not even the serpent in this. It's this religion thing. But
Yeah.
it's very much what we see with the evangelicals.
With the evangelicals.
They speak from the Bible and the book, and they'll stab you in the back.
They'll stab you in the
And they
back.
are not to be trusted, and they're smart, and they're
Yeah.
well moneyed, and they're evil.
Well, they're motivated by just their insanity. I mean, because look, I grew up in Jersey. I was confirmed into a Methodist church. Then I got moved over to an Eastern Orthodox church because a lot of my family is from Russia. So we went to Eastern Orthodox, and the whole time I've paid attention my whole life. My whole business, especially being an actor, is studying humanity. It's studying people and how they work and how they move and how they think and how they talk. That's what I do, right? So I watched, even from a young age, these motherfuckers would go sit in this church, handshake and hug, praise Jesus, praise whatever the fuck they're praising, right? Then they'd walk out of that church. They'd either beat their kids, get fucking shit-faced drunk, fucking, go fucking, do a line of fucking coke, whatever it is, kick their dog. And I'd go, what is going on here? This isn't right. Something's not right. Well, we're only human. We're not perfect like Jesus. So that's your crutch? That's the fucking bullshit you're going to spew? You think this is all justified because you're not perfect like Jesus? I mean, you see what I'm saying? There is this insane, and I tell my wife this, we have people around us that are religious, some family members, and she always gets nervous when I'm going to be around them. Like there's like family functions or dinners, because once they start spouting off, I usually go, you need meds or something to that effect. And then they get, what? And then my wife's like, please stop. But I'm like, no, because they're putting it at like, I don't know. I'm on a different wavelength from all that shit. I think outside that.
Yeah, well, but they're very prevalent in this particular election. So as much
Yeah, they can all eat a bag of fucking dicks. That's what I'm here to say. That's what my TikTok is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So I have to take, my husband is on a plane coming back from Israel. He's about to board. So so I want to talk to him before he gets on the plane.
Go do it, man.
Yeah, so yeah, this is where we are. I'm glad we connected.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll let you know when this goes live.
Okay.
And and just, keep fighting and we got this. But
Yeah.
gotta just remember that there are enemies lurking.
Abe, we got this.
I believe that. I believe that. I want to see a woman president. I
Yeah,
really
I
want
do
to
too.
see that in my lifetime.
I do too.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
brother. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Peace.
Be good.